You're all so predictable. Even now, one of you thinks you're recording this conversation. Victoria Sterling's voice cuts through the executive conference room like a blade through silk. 43 faces turn toward her, some guilty, others confused. The morning light streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows catches the fear in their eyes. She lets the silence stretch, counting heartbeats. Every single maintenance worker in this building will be replaced by automation after the merger. Consider yourselves obsolete. If you're enjoying this story about power, deception, and unlikely love, please consider subscribing to hear more tales where the underdog fights back against impossible odds. Your support helps us create more content like this. Marcus Brooks pushes his janitor's cart past the conference room's glass wall at exactly the wrong moment. Or perhaps, looking back, exactly the right one. His worn sneakers squeak against the polished marble floor. The sound draws Victoria's gaze for half a second before sliding away, dismissing him as background noise. He's heard every word through the door left carelessly ajar. His hands tighten on the mop handle until his knuckles go white. In the cart's trash compartment, beneath wet paper towels and coffee grounds, lie shredded documents he collected from the 52nd floor. Documents covered in Mandarin characters that most would dismiss as meaningless. Marcus knows better. 8 years at Goldman Sachs taught him to recognize patterns, and 5 years of poverty taught him that powerful people's garbage often contains their darkest truths. The elevator ride down to the basement takes forever. Marcus's mind races through what he's just heard, what he's been seeing for weeks. Strange meetings at odd hours. Nathan Crawford, Victoria's CFO, staying late but producing no visible work. Security cameras mysteriously offline whenever certain visitors arrive. He thinks of Emma, his 9-year-old daughter, waiting for him at their cramped apartment. Her inhaler is almost empty, and the prescription costs $400 they don't have. The basement maintenance room smells of industrial cleaner and broken dreams. Marcus spreads the shredded papers across a workbench, his fingers working with practiced efficiency to piece them together. The Mandarin characters slowly form sentences. His blood runs cold as he reads. Project Trojan, post-merger liquidation timeline. V, Sterling termination authorized. Asset transfer complete by midnight, day 2. His phone buzzes. Emma's school. His heart stops. Mr. Brooks, Emma had an asthma episode. She's stable, but you should come. The nurse's voice is kind but firm. Marcus checks the time. 8:47 a.m. The merger signing is in 48 hours. Emma needs him now. He photographs the reconstructed documents, his hand steady despite the storm in his chest. David Crawford sits in his corner office 3 blocks away, playing online chess on 20 screens simultaneously. His smile never wavers as he wins every game. His younger brother Nathan enters without knocking. They look nothing alike except for the predatory intelligence in their eyes. She took the bait, Nathan says, setting down a red USB drive. Announced the layoffs just as you predicted. The janitor was there. Marcus Brooks, David says, moving a digital queen. Former Goldman Sachs senior analyst. Lost everything in the crash. Daughter with chronic asthma. Desperate for money. Perfect. He spins in his chair, facing Manhattan's skyline. The city sprawls below like a chessboard. Did you drop the USB? By the elevator. He'll find it within the hour. Nathan checks his watch. Not the Rolex visible on his wrist, but the hidden smartwatch beneath his sleeve. Sarah's playing her role perfectly. Victoria trusts her completely. Trust. David savors the word. Such a fragile commodity. 3 years we've been building it, brick by brick. Tomorrow, we tear it all down. He opens a drawer, revealing 9 identical watches, each recording device worth more than Marcus makes in a year. Nathan wears the 10th. Every meeting, every confession, every moment of weakness. We could destroy her today if we wanted. But where's the artistry in that? Nathan finishes his brother's thought. The mouse must believe it can escape the maze. At the hospital, Marcus holds Emma's hand while she breathes through a nebulizer mask. Her eyes, the same brown as her late mother's, track his face for signs of worry. He forces a smile. Just a little episode, sweetheart. You're doing great. She squeezes his hand 3 times, their secret code for I love you. The doctor pulls him aside. Mr. Brooks, her condition is deteriorating. The standard medications aren't holding. There's a new treatment, very effective, but... The pause says everything. Marcus knows that pause intimately. $12,000 for the initial course. Insurance considers it experimental. Back at Sterling Financial, Victoria studies quarterly reports, unaware that every number has been carefully massaged by Nathan over 3 years. Subtle adjustments, nothing dramatic, just enough to paint the picture the Crawford brothers need. Sarah Mitchell, her assistant, brings coffee. Victoria doesn't notice the slight tremor in Sarah's hand, doesn't know that the real Sarah Mitchell is unconscious in a downtown hotel room, replaced 6 months ago by an actress the Crawfords hired. The merger documents arrived, fake Sarah says, placing 3 separate folders on Victoria's desk. Legal wants you to review all versions before tomorrow's preliminary signing. Victoria opens the first folder. Her phone rings. She answers in Mandarin, discussing logistics with their Hong Kong office. Through the hidden camera in Nathan's watch, displayed on his laptop 3 floors down, the Crawford brothers observe every micro-expression. Nathan types notes, fluent but formal, learned in classroom, not streets. Weak point, overconfidence in language privacy. Marcus returns to work, despite his supervisor's protests. He needs this job. Can't afford even a day's lost wages. The red USB drive lies exactly where Nathan planted it, near the executive elevator. Marcus picks it up, planning to turn it in to Lost and Found. Curiosity wins. In the maintenance room, he plugs it into an ancient laptop. The screen fills with financial projections, merger details, and something else. A folder labeled VS Termination Protocol. The trap springs perfectly. The moment Marcus opens the folder, tracking software activates. Nathan's phone pings. He's in, he tells David. Accessing the files from maintenance level, computer terminal 7. Let him read, David says, completing his 20th chess victory. Let him think he's discovered something. Heroes need to believe they're choosing to be heroes. The files detail a complete corporate assassination. Victoria will be blamed for massive fraud, evidence already planted in accounts bearing her digital signature. The merger will proceed, with her shares transferred to a shell company the Crawfords control. Marcus's stomach churns. He recognizes some of the account numbers from his Goldman days. They're connected to an old scandal, one that destroyed several careers, one that nobody ever traced back to the Crawford brothers. Emma texts him. Dad, feeling better. Drew you a picture. The attachment shows a crude drawing of 2 stick figures standing together, one tall, one small, facing a 2-headed snake. Children see truth in simple shapes. Marcus stares at the drawing, then at the screen. The Crawfords' plan depends on Victoria being isolated, having no allies. They haven't counted on a janitor who speaks Mandarin and recognizes financial fraud. They don't know he exists except as background noise. Or do they? Victoria's 11 a.m. meeting approaches. Nathan enters her office carrying more files, his watch recording everything. There's been an anomaly in the maintenance budget, he says carefully. One of the night janitors has been accessing executive floor areas outside his assigned route. "Fire him," Victoria says without looking up. "His name is Marcus Brooks." Nathan watches her face. No recognition. Former financial analyst, rather overqualified for pushing a mop. Now Victoria looks up, her green eyes sharp. "Former analyst? Here?" She pulls up his personnel file. The photo shows a tired man in a janitor's uniform, but she can see intelligence in his eyes, the kind that doesn't fade despite circumstances. Why would a financial analyst become a janitor? The 2008 crash destroyed many careers, Nathan says smoothly. Some never recovered. Shall I have security escort him out? Not yet. Victoria studies the file. Single father. Perfect attendance. No complaints. I want to know what he was looking for. The Crawford brothers exchange a digital smile through their encrypted messaging app. Every move proceeds exactly as planned. David types, "She's curious. Curiosity killed the cat." Nathan responds, "But satisfaction brought it back. Give her more rope." Marcus knows he should go to the authorities, but with what? Shredded documents he technically stole? Files from a USB drive he shouldn't have accessed? They'd arrest him before he finished explaining. Emma would go into foster care. He needs more evidence, needs to catch them in the act. He returns to the executive floor during lunch, when most staff are gone. The supply closet provides perfect cover. Through the slats in the door, he watches Nathan meet with someone he doesn't recognize, a woman who looks exactly like Sarah Mitchell, but moves differently, speaks differently. Victoria suspects nothing, fake Sarah says. She signed the preliminary authorization this morning. Excellent. Phase 2 initiates tonight. Nathan checks his watch. Not the expensive one, but the hidden one. David wants the fear ramped up. Make her paranoid. Paranoid people make mistakes. They leave. Marcus emerges from the closet, his mind racing. If Sarah is fake, where is the real one? He thinks of Emma's drawing, the two-headed snake. Both heads must be cut simultaneously, or the creature survives. His phone buzzes. The school again. His blood freezes, but it's good news. Emma won the art contest. Award ceremony at 3 p.m. 3 p.m., the same time as Victoria's critical merger review meeting. The universe has terrible timing. Marcus texts back, "I'll be there." He always is, no matter what. Emma comes first. Always. But as he walks toward the stairwell, he passes Victoria's office. She's alone, studying documents, a slight frown creasing her forehead. Through the glass, she looks less like an ice queen and more like someone trying to solve an impossible puzzle with missing pieces. Marcus has those pieces. He knocks. She looks up, irritation flashing across her features. "The executive floor is restricted during lunch hour." "Ms. Sterling, you're in danger." The words tumble out before he can stop them. Her frown deepens. "Security will escort you out. The merger is a trap. The Crawford brothers are planning to destroy you." He pulls out his phone, shows her the photographed documents. She doesn't take it, doesn't even look. "Mr. Brooks, is it? I don't know what game you're playing, but..." "Check page 73 of version 2 of the merger agreement," Marcus interrupts. "The clause about asset reallocation upon executive malfeasance. Then check who drafted that specific clause. Then ask yourself why Nathan Crawford has been recording every meeting with you for 3 years. Victoria's composure cracks slightly. How could he know about the recordings? She hasn't told anyone about her suspicions, the tiny red lights she sometimes glimpses on Nathan's wrist. "You have 30 seconds to explain before I call security. I worked at Goldman Sachs. Pattern recognition was my specialty." Marcus speaks rapidly. Time is everything. "The Crawfords orchestrated the Steinberg collapse in 2006, the Morrison fraud in 2007. They're patient. They build trust, then destroy from within. You're their biggest target yet. And you're telling me this why? What's your angle? No angle. Just a father who needs his job and a boss who doesn't deserve what's coming. His phone buzzes. 2:45 p.m. Emma's ceremony. I have to go. My daughter. Check the documents. Check everything. Trust no one, especially not Sarah Mitchell. He leaves before she can respond. Victoria stands alone in her office, the city sprawling below. She opens version 2 of the merger agreement, finds page 73. The clause is there, exactly as he said, buried in legal jargon, but unmistakably a trap. Her hands tremble slightly. She's built her career on reading people, but the Crawfords played her perfectly. Or have they? If they wanted her destroyed, why the elaborate game? Why not just execute their plan? Unless they need her to do something specific, make a particular decision. The paranoid person makes mistakes, Nathan had said. But he didn't know Marcus was listening. David Crawford watches his screens, observing Victoria through Nathan's camera feed as she discovers the planted clause. His smile widens. She found it, right on schedule. He texts Nathan, "Release the hounds." Nathan walks into Victoria's office without knocking, fake concern painted on his face. "Victoria, we have a problem. Someone's been accessing confidential files from the maintenance level. Our janitor, Marcus Brooks. Security footage shows him photographing documents." Victoria's mind races. Marcus warned her about Nathan, but Nathan's telling her about Marcus. One of them is lying. Both could be. "Bring him in. I want to question him myself. He left the building. Some family emergency." Nathan pauses perfectly. "Should we involve the police? Corporate espionage is a serious crime." "Not yet." Victoria's voice remains steady despite the chaos in her mind. "I want to know what he knows first. Have security bring him in tomorrow morning." Marcus sits in the school auditorium, watching Emma accept her award. Her face glows with pride. The picture that won shows their tiny apartment transformed into a castle, with Marcus as a knight fighting a two-headed dragon. One head wears a crown of money, the other a crown of lies. Children see everything. His phone vibrates. Unknown number. He steps into the hallway to answer. David Crawford's voice slides through like oil. "Hello, Marcus. Enjoying the ceremony?" Marcus's blood freezes. "How did you—" "We know everything. Emma's condition, her medication needs, your desperate financial situation. We also know you've been talking to Victoria." David pauses, savoring the moment. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to stay away from Victoria Sterling. You're going to go back to pushing your mop and being invisible. In return, Emma gets the treatment she needs. $12,000, wasn't it? Consider it done. You're trying to destroy an innocent woman. Innocent. Victoria Sterling has crushed 43 smaller companies in her rise to power. She's destroyed more careers than the 2008 crash. We're simply playing by her rules." David's tone shifts, becoming ice. "You have 10 seconds to decide. Emma's health or Victoria's wealth. Choose." Through the doorway, Marcus can see Emma on stage, holding her certificate, scanning the crowd for him. Their eyes meet, and she smiles. That smile is everything. That smile is worth any sacrifice. "I need proof you'll pay for the treatment," Marcus says, his voice hollow. "Check your bank account." Marcus does. $12,000 sits there, deposited 1 minute ago. Clean money, untraceable, enough to save his daughter's life. All he has to do is nothing. Let the Crawfords win. Let Victoria fall. "Smart choice," David purrs. "Remember, we're watching. One word to Victoria, and the money disappears, along with other things. The line goes dead. Marcus stands in the empty hallway, the sound of applause drifting from the auditorium. He's made his choice, or has he? The money is there, but the Crawfords just revealed something crucial. They're afraid of him. Afraid enough to bribe him, threaten him, try to remove him from the board. Why would they fear a janitor unless that janitor could actually stop them? Back at Sterling Financial, Victoria works late, studying every document, every contract, every email from the past 3 years. Patterns emerge, subtle manipulations she'd missed. Nathan's suggestions always seemed logical, helpful. In aggregate, they've positioned her perfectly for a fall. The fake Sarah enters with dinner. Victoria watches her carefully, notices the slight difference in how she holds a pen, how she pronounces certain words. "Sarah, do you remember what you said to me on your first day?" Victoria asks casually. Fake Sarah smiles. "That I'd always have your back." Wrong answer. The real Sarah had said she was terrified, but determined. Victoria nods, says nothing. Another piece falls into place. She's surrounded by enemies, has been for who knows how long. The only person who's told her the truth is a janitor who needs money desperately enough to clean toilets despite having a Goldman Sachs pedigree. Nathan appears in her doorway at exactly 11:11 p.m. The Crawford brothers always did have a thing for patterns. "Still working. The merger committee meets at 9 a.m. sharp. Just being thorough." Victoria doesn't look up from her screen, where she's discovered something interesting. A shell company in the Caymans, created 3 years ago, the exact week Nathan joined her firm. Account number 447281-X. It receives small transfers from dozens of sources, all ultimately tracing back to Sterling Financial. "Thoroughness is admirable, but paranoia is destructive," Nathan says, and there's something different in his voice, a hint of mockery, like he's tired of pretending. "You should rest. Tomorrow's a big day." After he leaves, Victoria pulls up the security footage from the past week. She has access Nathan doesn't know about, cameras he doesn't control. She watches Marcus piece together shredded documents, sees him find the USB drive, but she also sees something else. Before Marcus arrived, Nathan walked that exact path, dropped the drive deliberately. It was bait, and Marcus took it. But that means Marcus is either part of their plan or an unexpected variable. Given the Crawford brothers' reaction, she's betting on the latter. She needs allies, but trust is a luxury she can't afford. Everyone could be compromised. Her phone rings. Unknown number. She answers cautiously. "Ms. Sterling," Marcus's voice, tense and urgent. "I know you have no reason to trust me. They offered me money to stay quiet. $12,000 for my daughter's treatment. I took it." Victoria's heart sinks. Another betrayal. "But I'm calling anyway," Marcus continues, "because Emma drew a picture of a two-headed snake, and she was right. Both heads need to be cut simultaneously. The merger isn't the real trap. It's what happens during the signing." "Why should I believe you? You just admitted they bought you." "Because I'm telling you they bought me. A real operative would never admit that." Marcus pauses. She can hear hospital sounds in the background. "My daughter's life versus your company. I chose her. But maybe, just maybe, we can save both." Victoria considers. It's either brilliant honesty or masterful manipulation. "What do you know about 11/11? It's when they act. Always. Check the patterns. Every major financial crime they've orchestrated hit at 11/11, morning or night. They think it's poetic." She checks. He's right. Every timestamp, every execution, 11/11. "If you're lying, Then you're no worse off than you are now. But if I'm right, you need to know this. Tomorrow's signing isn't about the merger. It's about the murder. Murder? Yours, Ms. Sterling. Corporate murder, but murder nonetheless. And they want me to be the weapon that pulls the trigger. The line goes silent. Victoria processes this. Come to my office. Now. I can't. I'm at the hospital with Emma. But I can tell you this. Check the basement. Sub-level 3. That's where the real Sarah Mitchell is. The one in your office is an actress. Victoria immediately calls her real security. The ones she pays personally, not corporate. Within minutes, they're searching sub-level 3. They find Sarah Mitchell, unconscious but alive, in a maintenance room that's been converted to a makeshift cell. She's been there 6 months, kept sedated, IV keeping her alive. The real Sarah, once revived, is confused, but clear about one thing. Nathan Crawford interviewed me for the position. He said I didn't get it. Next thing I remember is waking up here. The pieces click together. The Crawfords didn't just infiltrate her company. They've been rebuilding it from inside, person by person. Victoria feels the walls closing in. Every person around her could be a plant, every decision guided by invisible hands. But she has one advantage they don't know about. Marcus Brooks, the invisible janitor who speaks Mandarin and recognizes patterns. The desperate father who chose his daughter but still called to warn her. He's outside their equations because they never considered him a player. Just background noise, furniture. David Crawford sleeps peacefully, dreaming of 20 chess games. Nathan reviews tomorrow's timeline for the 100th time. They don't know that their perfect plan has developed a crack shaped like a janitor who refuses to stay in his place. Victoria stands at her window, watching the city sleep. Somewhere out there, Marcus sits by his daughter's hospital bed, $12,000 of blood money in his account. Tomorrow, the Crawford brothers expect to destroy her. But tonight, for the first time in 3 years, she knows the truth. The real game is just beginning. Emma wakes briefly, sees her father in the chair beside her bed. She whispers, "Did you fight the dragon today, Daddy?" Marcus smooths her hair, thinking of the Crawford brothers, of Victoria Sterling alone in her tower, of the choice between money and morality. Not yet, sweetheart. But tomorrow I fight the dragon. Both heads at once, Emma murmurs, already falling back asleep. That's the only way to win. From the mouths of babes comes wisdom. Marcus knows what he has to do. The Crawford brothers gave him $12,000 to be silent. But they made one critical error. They assumed a desperate father would stay bought. They never considered that desperation might make him more dangerous, not less. Because a man with nothing to lose is unpredictable. But a father with everything to lose? That's a force of nature. The merger committee meeting is set for 9 a.m. Marcus arrives at Sterling Financial at 5 a.m., using his janitor's keys to enter through the service entrance. The building sleeps except for security guards who barely glance at him. He's furniture. Invisible. Exactly what the Crawford brothers counted on. His phone shows 4 missed calls from an unknown number. Probably David Crawford checking if their dog stays leashed. Victoria hasn't slept. She's spent the night mapping every connection, every planted employee, every manipulated decision. The real Sarah Mitchell sits across from her, weak but determined. 6 months of captivity haven't broken her spirit. I remember Nathan's questions during the interview, Sarah says. He wanted to know everything about your routines, your preferences, your tells when you're stressed. They built a perfect replica of you, Victoria observes. Good enough to fool me for 6 months. If you're captivated by this tale of corporate espionage and unexpected alliances, consider subscribing to hear the thrilling conclusion. Your support helps us bring more stories of underdogs fighting against impossible odds. Marcus reaches the maintenance room. He's not here to clean. Hidden behind the water heater is an old laptop he's been using to track the Crawford brothers' financial movements. 8 years at Goldman Sachs taught him that money always leaves trails, and the Crawfords, despite their brilliance, have patterns. Every crime at 1111, every shell company with numbers that sum to 11. They're obsessed with their own cleverness. The Cayman account, 447. 281-X shows interesting activity. Massive transfers scheduled for today at, predictably, 11:11 a.m. 2 minutes after the merger papers would be signed, except the transfers aren't going out. They're coming in. $50 billion from Sterling Financial's reserves, disguised as a merger cost. The company would be emptied, hollowed out like a carved pumpkin. His phone buzzes. Emma's nurse. "Mr. Brooks, Emma's asking for you. She had a nightmare about snakes." "Tell her Daddy's fighting them right now," Marcus says. "Tell her to draw me another picture, one where we win." David Crawford wakes at 6 a.m. precisely, checks his chess games. All victories, as always. He texts Nathan. "Status? Victoria pulled an all-nighter. She knows about fake Sarah." Nathan seems unconcerned. "Let her spin. Desperation makes people sloppy." "And our janitor?" "Radio silent since the payment, as predicted." David smiles at his reflection while adjusting his Italian suit. Everything proceeds perfectly. Victoria might know about Sarah, but she doesn't know about the 17 other plants throughout her company. She doesn't know that the merger committee itself is compromised, that 3 of the 5 members are their people, recruited over 2 years with careful precision. "Remember," David texts Nathan, "she needs to sign at exactly 11:09, 2 minutes for the virus to activate, then automatic execution at 11:11. "The poetry of destruction," Nathan responds. "By 11:15, Victoria Sterling will be the most hated woman in finance." Marcus discovers something interesting in the code, a hidden protocol in the merger software, triggered by biometric signature. The moment Victoria signs, it doesn't just authorize the merger. It activates a cascade of pre-programmed trades, all time-stamped weeks ago, making it look like she's been embezzling for months. But there's a flaw. The biometric scanner needs 30 seconds to confirm identity. If someone could disrupt it during that window. Hitaasere takes the service elevator to the executive floor. It's 7 a.m. now. Come now. The building's starting to wake. Through the glass walls, he sees Victoria in her office with the real Sarah, planning something. Good. She needs to be planning. The Crawfords expect her to fight. They've prepared for every logical move she might make. But they haven't prepared for illogical moves. They haven't prepared for chaos. Fake Sarah arrives at 7:30, carrying her usual coffee and fake smile. Victoria accepts both, playing along. "Big day today," fake Sarah chirps. "The merger committee is so excited." "I'm sure they are." Victoria sips the coffee. It's probably drugged. Micro doses of something to make her compliant. She sets it aside untouched. "Sarah, could you do me a favor? I left some important documents in my car. Could you get them?" "Of course." Fake Sarah practically skips to the elevator. The moment she's gone. Real Sarah emerges from the private bathroom where she's been hiding. "She's good," Real Sarah observes. "Studied me perfectly." "But not perfectly enough." Victoria hands her a keycard. "Security office, override code 771. Lock down the building at exactly 11:08. No one in or out." "That'll trap everyone inside. including the Crawfords. Exactly. If we're going to war, I want to choose the battlefield. Nathan arrives at 8 a.m., his 10 watches all recording. He doesn't know that Victoria discovered this particular trick, doesn't know she's been feeding him false information all night, letting him see her discover things they wanted her to find, while hiding her real preparations. Morning, Victoria. Ready for history? History's written by the victors, Nathan. She studies his face. Handsome, trustworthy, the mask of a perfect CFO. Tell me, how long have you been planning this? He doesn't even pretend surprise. 3 years, 7 months, 14 days, since the moment you destroyed Henderson Industries. That was my mentor's company. Henderson was laundering money for cartels. Henderson was a good man who made one mistake. Nathan's mask slipped slightly. You didn't just bankrupt him. You had him arrested, humiliated. He died in prison. So this is revenge. This is justice, poetic justice. He checks his visible watch. 8:30. The committee will be here soon. Try to maintain dignity in defeat. After he leaves, Marcus texts Victoria from his hidden position. Found the virus. Need 2 minutes of chaos at 11:10 to disable it. She texts back. Create chaos. I'll handle the rest. The merger committee arrives at 8:45. 5 people, 3 of whom Victoria now knows are plants. Richard Stone, purchased 2 years ago with gambling debt relief. Monica Chen, who despite her name is as American as apple pie, turned after Victoria passed her over for promotion. Harrison Wells, who's been a Crawford asset since before he joined Sterling Financial. Only 2 are real. Peter Hoffman, her mentor, and Jennifer Martinez, her first hire. 2 against 3, with Nathan making 6 hostile faces around the table. The math is against her, but mathematics never accounted for human unpredictability. Shall we begin? Nathan opens the merger documents, 3 copies, each subtly different. Victoria, you'll need to sign all 3 versions for legal purposes. She picks up the pen. Everyone leans forward slightly. The pen is probably bugged too. Everything in this room is a weapon pointed at her. But she has weapons of her own. At 9 a.m. sharp, David Crawford enters the building. He never attends these meetings. Officially has no connection to Sterling Financial. But today is special. Today, he wants to watch his masterpiece unfold in person. He takes a visitor's badge, fake name, and heads to the observation deck that overlooks the conference room. Perfect view of Victoria's destruction. Marcus watches David pass, recognizes him from old Goldman Sachs photos. The puppet master comes to watch his show. He texts Victoria. DC in building, observation deck. She doesn't respond, but he sees her shoulders straighten slightly. Knowing where your enemy is helps, even when surrounded. 9:30. Nathan walks Victoria through the documents, explaining each clause with patronizing patience. The 3 plants nod along. Peter and Jennifer look increasingly uncomfortable. Something feels wrong, but they can't identify what. Page 73, Victoria says suddenly. The asset reallocation clause. Who drafted this? I did. Harrison Wells lies smoothly. Standard protection for the merger partners. Interesting, because the language matches exactly a clause from the Henderson Industries bankruptcy filing. Victoria pulls out a document. She's been busy all night. Word for word. Unless you wrote both? Harrison falters. He didn't write either. Nathan did, but he can't say that. Monica jumps in. Coincidence. Legal language often repeats. True, like how your signature appears on 17 different authorization forms, all dated days you were supposedly on vacation. Victoria produces more papers. The real Sarah did excellent detective work. The room temperature seems to drop. Nathan's smile tightens. These accusations are serious, Victoria. Are you suggesting conspiracy? I'm suggesting truth. She stands, walks to the window. The city spreads below, unaware of the battle above. I know about Henderson. I know why you're here. What I don't understand is why the elaborate game. Why not just destroy me directly? David Crawford, watching from above, texts Nathan. She's stalling. Accelerate. Nathan receives the message, nods slightly. Enough discussion. The contracts require signature by 10 a.m. for regulatory filing. Sign now, or the merger fails, and Sterling Financial faces SEC investigation for the irregularities you just mentioned. A trap within a trap. If she signs, they win. If she doesn't, they've still destroyed her credibility. Victoria returns to her seat, picks up the pen. 10:15 a.m. 45 minutes until 11. Marcus positions himself near the building's main server room. The virus lives here, waiting for Victoria's biometric confirmation to activate. He's prepared something special, a power surge that will look accidental, but will happen at exactly the right moment. The Crawfords love their patterns. He's about to break them. 10:30. Negotiations continue. Victoria signs the first document slowly, deliberately. Each letter takes seconds. Nathan's patience frays. We don't have all day. Actually, we do. Victoria sets down the pen. I need to read section 47 again. David texts Nathan. Stop playing. Execute contingency. Nathan stands, walks to the door, and locks it. Enough games. The pretense drops completely. His voice becomes cold, clinical. Sign the documents now, or things become unpleasant. Threatening me, Nathan? In front of witnesses? What witnesses? Nathan gestures to the committee. Richard, Monica, Harrison? They'll swear you attacked me. And Peter and Jennifer? Well, they'll be too shocked to remember clearly. Peter Hoffman, 73 years old, Victoria's mentor since her first day, slowly stands. Nathan, what the hell is going on? Sit down, old man. Nathan doesn't even look at him. This doesn't concern you. Like hell it doesn't. Peter moves toward the door. This is my company too. Harrison blocks him. For a moment, violence seems imminent. Then, Jennifer Martinez does something unexpected. She throws her coffee at Harrison's face. Run, Peter! Get security! Chaos erupts. Harrison lunges for Jennifer. Monica tries to grab Peter. Nathan reaches for Victoria. The carefully choreographed plan dissolves into mayhem. Exactly what Marcus was waiting for. He triggers the power surge. Lights flicker throughout the building. Emergency lighting kicks in, casting everything in harsh red. Fire alarms begin blaring. Standard protocol for power fluctuation. The building's security system initiates lockdown. No one can enter or leave. David Crawford, trapped on the observation deck, frantically texts Nathan. What's happening? Nathan, struggling to restrain Victoria, can't respond. She's fighting back with surprising ferocity. The merger documents scatter across the floor. Coffee and blood. Harrison's nose is broken from Jennifer's surprisingly strong right hook. Splatter across the pages. Marcus races toward the conference room. He needs to time this perfectly. 11:05. 6 minutes until the Crawfords' moment of poetry. In the chaos, Victoria breaks free from Nathan, grabs the merger documents, and does something no one expects. She tears them in half. No signature, no merger, no trap. You think that matters? Nathan laughs, blood from a split lip making him look deranged. We have backups. We have your biometrics from 3 years of meetings. We can forge anything. You mean this? Marcus enters the room, holding a hard drive. Your backup server? The one with all the forged documents, the virus, the evidence of your conspiracy? Nathan's face goes white. That's impossible. That server is encrypted with a password based on the number 11. Everything you do is about 11. Marcus walks past the chaos, past the fighting committee members, straight to Victoria. Your pattern is your weakness. David Crawford bursts through the door. He must have found another way down. His calm composure finally cracks. You're nobody. A janitor. A nothing. I'm a father, Marcus says simply, and fathers protect what matters. It's 11:09, 2 minutes until their planned execution. Nathan lunges for the hard drive. Marcus sidesteps, and Nathan crashes into the wall. David pulls out a gun. Everyone freezes. Enough, David snarls. Sign the papers, Victoria, or I start shooting. Your choice. Corporate death or actual death. Victoria looks at him steadily. You won't shoot. Gunfire in a financial building? The FBI would be here in minutes. The FBI, David smiles coldly, is already here. The door explodes inward. Federal agents storm in, weapons drawn. But they're not pointing at David. They're pointing at Victoria. Victoria Sterling, the lead agent announces. You're under arrest for embezzlement, fraud, and conspiracy. David's smile widens. Did you think the virus was our only plan? We've been feeding the FBI evidence for months. Every irregular transaction, every questionable decision you've made. All documented. Victoria's heart sinks. Even the federal government is part of their web. But Marcus steps forward, still holding the hard drive. Agent Thompson, is it? Marcus asks. Before you arrest anyone, you might want to see this. He connects the drive to the conference room screen. David tries to stop him, but the agents hold him back. The screen fills with data. 3 years of recordings from Nathan's watches, David's chess games, that were actually coded messages planning crimes. The complete conspiracy laid out in their own words. But that's not the revelation that destroys them. It's what comes next. The Cayman account, 447281-X, Marcus announces, his voice clear and steady. Contains $50 billion, but not stolen money. It's the FBI's sting operation fund. The room goes silent. David and Nathan both turn pale. Marcus continues. You see, the FBI has been watching you for 3 years. Every crime you've committed, they've documented. They let you continue because they wanted the whole network. 17 companies, 43 conspirators, an international fraud ring. Agent Thompson here isn't part of your plan. He's been playing you. Agent Thompson nods. Mr. Brooks contacted us 6 months ago with initial evidence. We've been building the case since then. 6 months ago? Victoria turns to Marcus. But you, I've been watching them watch you for 6 months. Working as a janitor gave me access to everything. They never suspected the invisible man. Marcus pulls out a second device. This is the real evidence. Every document they've shredded, every secret meeting, every conspiracy. I may push a mop, Ms. Sterling, but I never forgot how to analyze patterns. David Crawford's composure completely shatters. This is impossible. You're lying. The money, the account you've been using is monitored by the FBI. Every transaction tracked. Agent Thompson steps forward. David Crawford, Nathan Crawford, you're under arrest for conspiracy, fraud, attempted corporate espionage, and about 30 other charges. As the agents handcuff the brothers, Nathan looks at Marcus with genuine bewilderment. Why, we offered you everything. Money for your daughter. Security. You offered me chains, Marcus replies. My daughter doesn't need blood money. She needs a father she can be proud of. The remaining conspirators are arrested. Richard, Monica, Harrison, all led away. The fake Sarah tries to run, but doesn't make it past the elevator. The observation deck cameras, which David thought were recording Victoria's downfall, instead captured his confession. It's 11:11 a.m. The Crawford brothers' moment of poetry becomes their destruction. Peter Hoffman, nursing a black eye from the struggle, looks at Marcus with newfound respect. "Son, that was the bravest thing I've ever seen." Jennifer Martinez, her knuckles bloody but smiling, adds, "Remind me never to underestimate janitors." Victoria stands in the wreckage of her conference room. Torn papers, overturned chairs, coffee staining everything. But she's free. For the first time in 3 years. Truly free. She looks at Marcus, who's quietly putting the hard drives in an evidence bag for the FBI. "You saved my company," she says softly. "You saved it yourself. I just helped with the cleaning." He manages a tired smile. "It's what janitors do." "Is that what you want to remain? A janitor?" Marcus thinks of Emma, of the $12,000 he'll have to return, of the medical bills waiting. It's honest work. "What if I offered you dishonest work?" Victoria asks, and for the first time since he's known her, she actually smiles. "Chief Risk Analyst. Your job would be to find threats before they become problems, to see patterns others miss." "I don't have the credentials anymore. My license expired. My reputation, your reputation, is that you just took down the most sophisticated corporate espionage ring in history with a mop and determination." She extends her hand. "I don't care about credentials. I care about capability." Before Marcus can respond, his phone rings. The hospital. His heart stops, but it's good news. "Mr. Brooks, a donation just came through for Emma's treatment. Full coverage, all expenses, from the Sterling Foundation." He looks at Victoria, who shrugs. "The foundation supports families affected by corporate crime. Your family qualifies." "I can't accept charity. It's not charity. It's justice." She pulls up her phone, shows him a document. The Crawfords' assets will be seized. The FBI's reward for information leading to their capture is substantial. You've earned every penny and more. Agent Thompson approaches. "Mr. Brooks, we'll need you to testify. But after that, you're free to resume your life. Whatever life you choose." As the FBI finishes processing the scene, Victoria and Marcus stand by the window, looking out at the city. The sun breaks through clouds, casting golden light across the buildings. The storm has passed. "My daughter drew a picture," Marcus says quietly. "Two people fighting a two-headed snake. She saw all this coming somehow. Children see truth adults miss." Victoria turns to him. "I'd like to meet her." "She'd like that. She needs to know that not all people in suits are monsters. And I need to remember that not all heroes wear suits." 3 weeks later, the Sterling Financial Building has returned to normal, except for the new Chief Risk Analyst's office on the 42nd floor. Marcus sits behind a desk that cost more than his old annual salary. But he's kept one thing from his janitor days: the mop bucket in the corner, a reminder of where he came from. Emma visits after school, working on homework while her father reviews financial documents. Her new medication has transformed her life. She breathes easily, runs without gasping, laughs without coughing. The Sterling Foundation covers everything, including experimental treatments that promise even more improvement. Victoria stops by. She does this often now, claims it's for business, but Marcus knows better. She brings cookies from the expensive bakery downstairs. Emma pretends not to notice how Victoria's eyes soften when she looks at Marcus, how Marcus stands a little straighter when Victoria enters. "How's the risk analysis going?" Victoria asks. "Found 3 potential threats, 2 internal inefficiencies, and 1 opportunity for expansion. Marcus shows her his reports. Also, someone in accounting is stealing coffee pods, but I'm letting that slide. Generous of you. She sits on the edge of his desk, something the old Victoria would never have done. The board wants to know how you knew about the FBI operation. I didn't, Marcus admits. That was a complete lie. But the Crawfords were so paranoid about their Cayman account, they believed it immediately. Sometimes the best trap is the one your enemy builds for themselves. You bluffed the entire thing? Not all of it. I did contact the FBI 6 months ago, but they laughed at me. A janitor claiming conspiracy? They thought I was crazy. It wasn't until I had the hard drives that they took me seriously. Victoria laughs, really laughs. The sound transforms her face. Emma looks up from her homework, studying them with the intense focus children have when adults interest them. Ms. Sterling, Emma says suddenly, do you like my dad? The question hangs in the air. Victoria turns slightly pink. Marcus tries to intervene. Emma, that's not— Yes, Victoria says simply. I like your dad very much. He's brave and smart and kind. He likes you too, Emma announces. He smiles different when you're here. Now Marcus turns red. Victoria grins at his discomfort. Emma, don't you have homework? Marcus asks desperately. Finished it. Can I draw instead? She pulls out her art pad, begins sketching. Marcus and Victoria talk business, but there's a new awareness between them, a possibility neither had considered before. The CEO and the former janitor. It sounds like a fairy tale, but fairy tales sometimes come true. As the sun sets, painting the office gold, Emma shows them her drawing. 3 figures standing together, holding hands, facing a bright sun. No snakes this time. No dragons. Just 3 people who might become a family. It's beautiful, Victoria says softly, and she's not looking at the drawing when she says it. Marcus takes her hand. It's a small gesture, but it changes everything. Stay for dinner? I'm cooking. Nothing fancy, just pasta and sauce, but I'd love to. They leave together, the 3 of them, CEO and analyst and child. The security guards whisper as they pass. By tomorrow, the whole building will know. But Victoria doesn't care about appearances anymore. The Crawfords taught her that reputation built on lies crumbles, but truth endures. At Marcus's small apartment, Victoria helps with dinner, laughing as Emma tells stories about school. It's cramped and modest, nothing like her penthouse, but it feels more like home than anywhere she's lived. Marcus watches her dice tomatoes, badly but enthusiastically, and thinks that maybe Emma's drawing will come true. I have something to tell you, Victoria says over dinner. The board offered me a bigger position, CEO of the entire Sterling consortium, not just financial. That's amazing, Marcus says, though his heart sinks slightly. More responsibility means less time, more distance. I turned it down. Both Marcus and Emma stare at her. I've spent 10 years building empires, Victoria continues. I want to spend the next 10 building something else, a life maybe, with people who matter. Under the table, she takes Marcus's hand. Above it, Emma grins triumphantly. Later, after Emma's asleep, Marcus and Victoria stand on his tiny balcony, looking at the city lights. The Sterling Financial Building gleams in the distance, but it's just a building. The real treasure is here, in this moment. The Crawfords were wrong about one thing, Victoria says. What's that? They said I crushed 43 companies. It was actually 44. She smiles at his confusion. The 44th was my own life. I crushed everything personal to build something professional. They just helped me see it. And now I'm rebuilding, with better materials. She turns to him. With better people. He kisses her. It's gentle, tentative. Nothing like the corporate mergers she's used to. It's better. It's real. From her doorway, Emma watches them and smiles. Her drawing came true. The two-headed snake is gone, defeated not by force, but by truth, courage, and unexpected love. Tomorrow, she'll draw another picture. A wedding, maybe, or a house with a yard, or a baby sister. But tonight, this is enough. Her father found someone who sees his worth, and Victoria found someone who sees her heart. The city sleeps below them, unaware that in a small apartment, a former janitor and a CEO are writing a different kind of merger agreement. One built on trust instead of lies, love instead of manipulation, hope instead of fear. The Crawford brothers sit in separate federal holding cells, playing mental chess games they'll always lose, because they never understood the most important rule. Patterns are powerful, but people are unpredictable. They built a perfect trap, but perfection is fragile. One janitor with courage was enough to shatter it. Marcus goes inside to check on Emma. Victoria follows. They stand in the doorway of Emma's room, watching her sleep peacefully. No more wheezing, no more fear. "She saved us both," Victoria whispers. "Her drawing, her insight. She saw what we couldn't." Children do that. They see past the disguises we wear. Speaking of disguises, you'll need better suits for the analyst position. But I'm keeping the janitor uniform too. Never know when I'll need to be invisible again. She laughs quietly. My invisible night. 6 months pass. Marcus has exposed 7 more corporate conspiracies, saved Sterling Financial approximately $200 million, and earned the respect of the entire board. But his greatest achievement stands beside him at the company gala. Victoria, wearing a simple dress instead of her armor-like suits, laughing freely. Emma's there too, in her first formal dress, teaching Peter Hoffman how to do the floss dance, while Jennifer Martinez films it for the company newsletter. The headline will read, "Sterling Financial, a family company." And for once, it won't be corporate speak. Nathan Crawford testifies against his brother for a reduced sentence, 20 years instead of life. He reveals everything. 17 other companies they've targeted, 43 individuals destroyed, hundreds of millions stolen. But when asked why they failed at Sterling Financial, he has only one answer. We didn't account for the janitor. David Crawford refuses to speak at his trial, plays imaginary chess games in his head. Life without parole. He'll have plenty of time to play. But every game ends the same way, defeated by a move he didn't see coming, a piece he dismissed as powerless. The Sterling Financial building gets a new addition, a daycare center for employees' children. Emma attends after school, helps younger kids with homework. She's become something of a legend, the girl whose drawing saved a company. One afternoon, a new janitor starts work. Marcus sees him studying documents in the trash, notices the intelligence in his eyes, the desperation in his movements. He approaches carefully. "Looking for something?" The man jumps, terrified. "I'm sorry, I was just... Pattern recognition is a valuable skill. Come see me tomorrow, 42nd floor. Bring your resume, not your mop." The man stares after him, confused and hopeful. The cycle continues. Those dismissed as nobody often see everything. Those elevated as somebody often see nothing. Victoria and Marcus marry on a Thursday at 11:11 a.m. Their private joke. The ceremony is small. Emma as flower girl, Peter Hoffman officiating. He got ordained online for the occasion. Jennifer Martinez as witness. The real Sarah Mitchell as Victoria's maid of honor. No elaborate games, No hidden agendas. No patterns except the one that matters. Two people who found each other in the chaos and chose to hold on. As they exchange vows, Emma draws another picture. A castle made of glass and steel. But this time, the people inside aren't fighting dragons. They're dancing, laughing, living. The castle isn't a fortress anymore. It's a home. Do you, Victoria Sterling, take this former janitor to be your husband? Peter asks, grinning. I do, especially the janitor part. It reminds me to look for truth in unexpected places. And do you, Marcus Brooks, take this CEO to be your wife? I do, but I'm keeping my mop. Someone needs to clean up her messes. Everyone laughs. Even the security guards smile. Love has transformed Sterling Financial from a battlefield to something better. A place where anyone can rise, where truth matters more than appearance, where a janitor's insight is worth more than a consultant's report. The Crawford brothers' legacy becomes a cautionary tale taught in business schools, how the perfect plan failed because it couldn't account for human decency, parental love, and the unexpected courage of the invisible. But Marcus and Victoria's legacy is different. It's Emma graduating valedictorian, breathing easily thanks to treatment the Sterling Foundation provides to all children with chronic illness. It's the 17 whistleblowers who now work for Sterling Financial's ethics department. It's the janitor who became CEO of a subsidiary company, the secretary who exposed a senator's corruption, the security guard who stopped a billion-dollar fraud. It's the proof that sometimes the best person to save a kingdom isn't a knight in shining armor. It's the servant who sees all, says little, but acts when it matters most. On their first anniversary, Victoria gives Marcus a gift, his old mop, gold-plated, mounted on their office wall. The plaque reads, "The tool that cleaned up corporate America." Marcus gives her Emma's first drawing, the two-headed snake. Below it, he's written, "The enemy we face together is the reason we stand together." Emma, now 10 and healthy, gives them both a new drawing, a family portrait, but expanded. There are more figures now, shadows of children not yet born, possibilities not yet realized. At the bottom, she's written, "Our story isn't over." And she's right. Stories like theirs don't end. They evolve, inspire, ripple outward. Somewhere, a janitor notices something wrong and speaks up. Somewhere, a CEO chooses truth over profit. Somewhere, a child draws a picture that sees clearly what adults obscure. The Crawford brothers thought they were artists, painting a masterpiece of deception. But real art isn't about perfection. It's about truth. And the truth is simple. A janitor, a CEO, and a little girl with asthma changed each other's lives by choosing courage over fear, love over logic, and family over fortune. The Sterling Financial Building stands tall against the New York sky, its windows reflecting not just the city, but the possibilities within it. Inside, Marcus Brooks reviews risk assessments, while Victoria Sterling Brooks plans humanitarian initiatives. Their daughter Emma draws in the corner office, her breathing easy, her future bright. The two-headed snake is dead, but more importantly, the three-hearted family is alive, thriving, and ready for whatever comes next. Because that's what love does. It takes the impossible and makes it inevitable, takes the invisible and makes it invaluable, takes a janitor and a CEO and makes them something neither could be alone. Partners, parents, people who proved that the greatest merger isn't between companies. It's between hearts brave enough to trust, hands strong enough to hold, and souls wise enough to see that sometimes the person pushing the mop is the one who can clean up your life.